Chris Van Hollen has been really impressing me lately. Chris Van Hollen has been a bit of a superstar on the Democratic side. He's one of the reasons why Kilmar Abrego Garcia wound up being freed. He went to El Salvador and visited Kilmar and, put that front and center. Let Bukele know, hey, we're watching you, bitch. And if Democrats get power again in the U.S., your ass might be in fucking prison. So it was pressure put on Bukele. He also had an American Palestinian kid, 16 years old, being illegally held as a prisoner, as a hostage by Israel. He helped get him released. So he's been putting W after W on the board. I also think he's interested in running for president, by the way, I should point out. Well, here he is on ABC this week, and listen to what he says here. This is a big fucking deal. This is a big deal. Ready?
Let me ask you about that Washington Post report on the attack on that Venezuelan alleged drug boat. What do you make of what happened there? Do you think there was a war crime committed?
Oh, I think it's very possible there was a war crime committed. Of course, for it to be a war crime, you have to accept the Trump administration's whole construct here,
that we're at war,
which is we're in armed conflict at war with the drug gangs. Of course, they've never presented the public with the information they've got here. But it could be worse than that, right? If that theory is wrong, then it's plain murder.
The first strike is murder in that case.
That's correct.
You're alleging
That's correct. Well, I'm saying that it's either murder from the first strike if their whole theory is wrong, and I think the weight of the legal opinion here is that they've concocted this ridiculous legal theory. But even if you accept their legal theory, that it is a war crime, and so I do believe that the Secretary of Defense should be held accountable for giving those kind of orders.
Here you have a Democratic senator accusing Donald Trump of committing murder, and he is 1,000,000% factually correct. Listen to what he said there. It's actually really important, the distinction that he made. He said, look, it's not even a war crime because in order for it to be a war crime, you have to officially be at war. There's been no declaration of war through Congress, which is legally what has to be done in order for these actions to happen, right? And so then if it's not a war crime, you're literally just committing murder. You're committing murder openly and repeatedly. 83 separate instances of murder. That number's probably climbing on a regular fucking basis. Over 20 different instances of bombing these ships. I'll go a step further. Not only is he correct, he's more correct than he even knows because there's another term we could use to describe this. Terrorism. The President of the United States and the Secretary of War Crimes, Pete Hegseth, they are committing terrorism.